Add-ons are a very unique and powerful feature of Xano, which gives you the same flexibility of GraphQL in the sense that add-ons allow you to extend the data of a single API request from different data sources or database tables. Another really awesome thing about Xano is we allow you to customize the response of those add-ons so you can get rid of any unnecessary or unwanted data in your response. That's what I want to cover today, is customizing the response of an add-on, because there's a couple different places where you can do that, and it's important to understand the hierarchy of how those work with each other. So on the page here, I have this simple API endpoint where I'm just getting all my merchant records. If we jump to my output tab, you can see I added one add-on here, which is the deal of merchant. So first I'm getting all my merchant records right here, and then I'm doing this add-on to get all of the deals associated with each of my merchants, which is mapped on this merchant ID from the deal table and the ID to the merchant table. So we can customize the response of this add-on if we simply go into this orange button here, click on the add-on, it opens up the settings, and then right here we can click on customize the response. And once we do that, we can select customize the response, and we can deselect anything we don't want from our response. So let's say I wanted to get rid of created at and maybe this merchant ID. So I'm just getting the ID and amount right now. So if I save this, we can see that gets updated, and here in the response, we see now there's only ID and amount. So if I actually go and run this, you can see right here that we just have the ID and amount for our add-on here. So that's the first place that you can customize the response of an add-on. The other place is in the library here on the left side where it says add-ons. We can actually click into this add-on, and from this view we have full control over any additional customization. We can mess with the inputs, we can open up the actual function, do any additional filtering, and then if we jump to the output tab, well, here we can customize the response. So from this view, this is like setting a default response for your add-on. So the default response right now is no customize response. It has all the fields. If we wanted to change that, we simply just hit customize, go through the same flow, and let's say here, I want to just leave it all as. We'll leave it all as for now because I want to show you something first. So this is the default response. If I go back to that API endpoint that we started with, if I click into here and go back to this output tab, so let's say I want to do a new add-on. I'll do another deal of merchant, and we'll name this deal of merchant 2 to not do any confusion. And we won't customize the response here. Okay. So right now we have the full response, and I'll just make sure to save this before I jump out of here. But any changes now that I make in the library page of add-ons will reflect on this deal of merchant 2 because we have not selected to actually customize the response from within this query. So if you go right here, this is not selected. If we were to select that, then whatever settings I make in here are going to take priority over changes made in the library. And that's just because we figure in certain responses, different data might be important to you. So if I save this, and if I jump back to the add-on page right here, and if I actually wanted to go ahead and customize the response this time, let's say I wanted to take out, let's take out just the amount. So we just have the ID created at in merchant ID. So we'll have 3 fields. So now on our deal of merchant 2, these changes will actually be reflected. But for our first add-on, they won't be. Okay, so let's jump back to the API here, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's go back onto this API endpoint. So now if I open this up, we can see that our deal of merchant 2 is our 3 fields now, and our deal of merchant wasn't affected because we have decided to customize the response. Now I could go into this deal of merchant 2 and make changes, and then anything changed in the add-on on the add-on page of the library will not affect this deal of merchant 2. And I can go ahead and run this so I can show you that these changes are actually real. So here is deal of merchant, here's our second one with our 3 fields. Now, one last thing to make note of is what happens when we add a new field in our database. So if we add a new field in our database and you have a customized response selected, then that new field will not get added to the response. If you don't have customized response selected, then that new field will be added to the response. Okay, so if I go in here and go into my deal table, and let's just add a text field here, and we'll call this just new. So as you can see, here's new field. So if we jump to our add-on, we had customize response actually selected. So if we go into here in the output, you can see it's going to stay the same with those 3 fields. So anytime we deselect it, then we're just going to get all fields automatically, even if that is in the query. So if I were to jump back here into the API and I go back into this query all records function, we'll see the first one, because the output is customized, that new field doesn't get added. And this deal of merchant 2 is at the default, where we just made sure to uncustomize the response so that new field got added. So there you have it. Obviously, can be a little confusing. We also have a write-up on this in our documentation, so please take a look at that. I hope this was helpful and helped clear things up. Obviously, it's very important to understand the hierarchy of how these things work. Add-ons can be a very powerful tool, and also being able to get the necessary data and get rid of the unnecessary data for your responses is a very awesome feature of Xano. So thanks for watching this video, and see you guys in the next one.